Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for the 25th San Francisco Independent Film Festival. The festival is being held February 2nd through 12th at the Roxy Theater and online. Thank you again so much for our filmmakers joining us from the Shorts with Features program. All of these amazing films can be seen with films at the Roxy Theater, as well as within this digital collection, which you, our awesome audience, has just consumed. So thanks so much. I'm just going to kick it off by asking our filmmakers to introduce themselves. So we'll start off with Rich. Hi, Rich.
Hi there. I'm Rich Mueller. I'm the director, producer, co-producer, and co-writer for Bitsy Fights Back.
Welcome. And you are joined today with Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hi. Yeah, I co-produced and helped on the surface writing some additional dialogue for Bitsy Bites Back and ran production for our show.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for joining us. Hi, Nicole. How are you doing?
I'm good. My name is Nicole DeMonesis. I'm a writer, director, producer of Queer Science. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it and looking forward to talking about it.
I have the song stuck in my head like perpetually now. Queer Science. Hi, Lachelle. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me. My film is The Aftermath, and I'm the director and producer.
Welcome. Hi, Paul.
Hi, yeah, my name is Paul Donatelli, and I am the writer, director, and everything filmmaker for A Dozen Loops.
I love the everything filmmakers. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Jake. How's it going?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm Jake. I am the director of Jare Hayes and producer as well. So I'm really excited to be here with you all.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And last but not least, hi, Micah. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Mika Vasa, and I'm the writer and director of From Water Comes Melon.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Just to kind of kick stuff off, we'd love to hear about the genesis of your films, how you came up with the idea, how you came to be involved, and kind of what that process was. And we'll go reverse, and we'll start off with Mika. Mika, tell us about this surreal film that you created.
Well, the movie started, it all started from the watermelon sitting scene. And the script then bloomed from there. Originally, I was just going to shoot just that shot as a standalone mini shot movie, but it grew into something bigger. The stylistically totally inspired by the series Samurai Champloo, and yeah, that's how it got. That was the genesis of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Jake, how did you meet Jare? Like, how did this film come together for you?
Yeah, so mine is a documentary. And I'm really just interested in profile pieces. I think there's just a lot of incredible people out there in the world. So when I moved back to San Francisco, where I'm living now, I met Jare Hayes first by meeting the MMA gym that he works at. And I was kind of introduced to Jare, who's not only just an incredible boxer, but an incredible person and an incredible trainer. So it seems like kind of a no-brainer to, you know, shine a little highlight or spotlight on this guy. So we've been friends and we've been hanging out for the last couple of years now, which has kind of just been a blessing in itself too. So not only did I get a really great film out of it and get to work with really great people, but get to hang out with Jare too. So it's been a real blast getting to work on this project.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for bringing his story to us. Hi, Paul. Can you speak to how you came up with your film and that process was like for you?
Sorry, my background is in documentary as well, but I seem to be drawn most recently to kind of hybrid films that combine documentary and fiction elements. And so while my film does have me running in it, which is, I was really doing the running, that was me doing the running. It had a lot of other fictional elements And it just basically was me looking for ideas to make a short film and then realizing, wait, I'm just going to make a film about what I'm already doing. And I'm going to involve the people that I see every day, which are my wife and my kids, who did some of the camera work. And so it was a fun project to do, and I gave myself a month to do it. So it was almost kind of like a sprint to the finish line. And just it was a collage of lots of different things. And I have a lot of other, interests in painting and poetry and all this stuff. So I tried to just kind of throw everything out there, and this film is kind of what resulted from that.
I love that so much. Thank you for sharing. Lachelle, how about you? Where did the aftermath come from? How did you bring it to be?
Yeah, so I actually come from production. So I worked as a production manager and coordinator a lot. And I was doing a movie in Pacifica, California, just south of San Francisco. And I went on a trip to Point Reyes, and I just loved the location. And I was like, I have to film something here. And I had been reading a book about what happens to people after the Titanic, like their story. Most of them are women, because a lot of men did perish on the Titanic. So the idea was kind of born from that. And I also wanted to do a film that was, kind of really showing women at that time in the early 1900s and kind of the struggles that they were going through. I love Terrence Malick, so I did kind of a combination of Terrence Malick meets Pride and Prejudice, and kind of made it beautiful and fun.
It is very, very beautiful. Like the way that you capture like the sea within the character and the access to the period is really gorgeous. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Hi, Nicole. Can you, where did Queer Science come from? It's so much fun. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, well, I'm a lesbian. I'm a fan of lesbians, and who doesn't like tiny lesbians? So I thought that would be adorable. But also just the film came about during the pandemic. I wanted to make something fun. A lot of people were making different COVID movies, and just thinking of myself as an audience member, what would I want to see? And I always trying to insert LGBT characters in genre in general, like taking up space in genre. We don't see enough of ourselves in horror and sci-fi, and so wanting to do something with those aspects. Like, during the pandemic, a lot of us watched nostalgic films, and if you remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you're like, that's a fun movie, but you know what? It'd be better if it had lesbians in it. And so that's, wanting to make something fun, wanting to make something that we could do with one location, two actors that we could schedule, that the bulk of their scenes were maybe have one scene and the rest they could shoot separately, shooting on green screen to add that movie magic to get them in the same place. And it was really fun to buy a bunch of tiny props on Etsy. All these the little artisan PBRs from Switzerland. I bought way too many tiny props. We could only afford the tiny props. We couldn't afford big props. So it was a lot of fun though. So I hope people enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, so much fun. Yeah, most stories would be better if lesbians in it. So thank you, Nicole, for fighting that good fight and making such a hilarious film. Rich, what's up with you? Tell us about your zany film. How did Bitsy come to be?
Well, it's kind of actually a really long story, but I'll try to shorten it real down. I had been working on a much longer version of the story for years, and it was a feature film, and then I had made it written into a series. And I met Dave in the process of, we're both writers, we met in a writers group, and at one point he and I just decided, what the hey, let's make a movie. So we made a movie, a very short film, a 2 or 3 minute film, and that turned out so well, and I was really burning with the fire of Bitsy. And so I said to Dave, hey, let's make this movie, and he said, okay. So we made Bitsy Bites Back from that. We really hadn't made anything before that, either of us, or I hadn't really made any movies before that, so this is all new.
Wonderful. And Dave, how was it for you? How was the collaboration aspect of everything? Was it
It's
a
great,
cool experience?
that's what makes it all worth it, because it's so hard to make a film, whether it's a minute or a 2-hour feature. It's all about the collaboration and to work with Rich and then all the artists, all the actors, actresses, and all the crew too. When you have a really good team of people, it makes the challenge and pain and long hours of making a film really worth it. So it was great. And I met Rich in a writing group, and he showed me, like he said, it started. I think he really did shorten it, because I think I read about 7 different versions of this script in various different lengths before he finally said, make a short. And you want to make a short? I was like, yeah, let's make this thing already. So it worked out well.
That's lovely. Do we have a little more time? Maybe Rich and Dave, back to you. Were there any like major challenges that you had to overcome to bring your film into the world?
Wow, major challenges.
Filmmaking is hard in general, but
Yeah.
anything you overcame to get
Uh,
it just right?
Dave, does anything spring to mind for you? Nothing's popping up in mind for me. And I mean, not that it was a super smooth process. It was a lot of work, but it did, in a lot of ways, it seemed to come together. So I didn't really feel like there was, except for the script, I guess, itself, we did work on that quite a bit. So I think that maybe, Dave, would you agree that the script was maybe one of the major challenges?
I would say, I was going to say the whole thing, but for sure, yeah. I think we bit off a little more than we could chew in terms of the number of shots. We had an incredible number. We had a shot list of like 200. It was like 200 items long. And the way we shot, we used these backdrops, and we set up our second location. We had 4 different rooms within one room, and so we have a lot of characters walking and talking, but we had still cameras. So just stitching everything together and trying to get it cohesive was quite a challenge. But when you have a patient crew and actors that are really buying into your process, it was great. It worked out great, but it was a lot of work.
Well, it paid off. Thank you both so much. Michelle, I would love to hear more about how you created such a timeless looking film. Did you have challenges just dealing with the landscapes and your costuming? Like, what was that process like, making a period piece?
Yeah, so since I worked in production and I knew how much money I had to spend and that I wanted to do a period piece because those are some of my favorite things to watch. So I knew I couldn't be in a confined space, like in an indoor confined space, and have all these props and things. So I was like, let's do it out in Point Reyes. It'll be beautiful. And then we'll focus on really the look and the landscape. And so my DP, he had an old lens from a projector, and he actually built me an anamorphic lens for the film. So that was really cool. We had some challenges with the wind, and it happened to be like a holiday weekend that I got cheap flights for. So we're working around people. But, besides that, I mean, making kind of an experimental film can be challenging because there's sometimes too much creativity you can do with it. It was not structured enough in the pre-production. So I really tried to, in post, I was almost recreating. I think that was the hardest part, not to go in a completely different direction and try to keep with what I was originally doing, but maybe just add to it or that kind of thing. So it was an interesting process.
Well, it's very lovely. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
Paul, I'm thinking about with your film, just how do you access the structure? You said you use so many different mediums and kind of muses of art. What was your process like in kind of figuring out how to bring those pieces together?
It was, starting with a very, very basic structure and then filling in as I was making the film. Essentially, it was almost to me, it was kind of like painting, or I'm not a musician, but if I were, creating a piece of music kind of as it was being recorded. I had certain ideas of shots and I had those, but as I was editing, certain things would happen. Like my son is in the movie and he's asking about the movie. And so I thought, I'm just going to record him asking about the movie and put that in. And that was as I was editing. So there was a lot of moments like that where I had kind of the basic structure there, but I had all of these different spaces where I thought, okay, I'm going to add this here. maybe I'll add, something else from, my wife's grandparents had died, and I thought, I'm going to insert some moments from my grandparents, some old film or some old video that I have of them. So there was all these, and a lot of things like somebody that was watching wouldn't know, but for me, it's almost kind of like a family album / kind of this time capsule of this very particular month in my life, with running as kind of the backdrop, but it's about more than just kind of what the running or shots are in the film.
I love that. The like layered subtext and artistic.
Yeah.
It's cool. Thanks so much, Paul.
Yeah.
Jake, how did you and Jure like meet up? Like, how did you guys decide to embark on this storytelling together? And like, what was your process for gaining his trust?
Yeah. I'm from his perspective, I would have been creeped out or freaked out a bit, because it was just like a random text from a guy like, "Hi, I'm a filmmaker. You're incredible. I'd love to like make a film about you. Can we meet in a football stadium, in a gym, just us two?" So like, I'm sure from like first perspective, it was probably different for him, from someone who probably hasn't had a camera on him ever. But I think a lot of trust just came from, we kind of got lunch a bunch in the beforehand, like when I was prepping it. We would meet up, we'd hang out. And I think just building a sort of friendship more than like this is a job and like I'm behind the camera and you're in front of the camera. I think just building more of a friendship, and just like, we probably didn't start shooting until like 2 months after we started talking. So there was a lot of time for us to actually like grow a sense of friendship, or grow more than just me filming him. So that's probably how we got there. And it's been so fun just being able to finish the project and then having him come to the film festival next week or in 2 weeks. So it's been a really fun, just like full circle, to like not only like do this experience with Jare, but also get him to watch, it be on a big screen. So we're both excited, but there are a lot of people on the film. So it wasn't just me and Jare. There are a lot of connections and friendships that happened with Jare personally. So that was really fun too, to be able to experience that with everybody in the crew.
That's so awesome. Thank you. Mika, so you said that you kind of started with the watermelon set as your like base. So what was your production like? Were you just shooting as inspiration came, or did you like draft out like the beats of the film? Like, how did that evolve from that one shot?
Yeah, it was all scripted out. It came together. Every other film I'd made was super gritty. Last 3 films I made were all on VHS tape, and I wanted to make like a really pretty film. And so that was just some of the inspiration, or some of the goals, I should say. And then, yeah, the script all came together. I actually can't remember when I wrote the script. I wrote it as it was all planned out. There was some we had a lot of happy mistakes on the film. Like the beach scene was all supposed to be shot in 1 day, but we were too slow. So it ended up being 2 days, and we had 1 day that was super foggy, 1 day that was sunny, and just ended up like helping the film so much. And then the ice cream queen was supposed to be this older lady, but she didn't end up being able to do it. And there's no way she would have been able to do it, because that crown was super tippy. So the person had to have perfect posture for the entire thing. So we actually had an ex-ballerina do it. So a bunch of happy mistakes. Yeah, it was all planned out.
Well, there you go. Well, it turned out very cool. So thanks so much for sharing. And Nicole, I love just hearing about your access to like making your sets and your props. Can you talk about some of like the funnest moments of your production? Was there anything that was like super crazy or like made you want to quit filmmaking? Like, what's the dirt?
This was more challenging than I thought it was going to be. We actually lost a loved one like a couple days before production. The post-production was actually very stressful. So one of the actors on our 3rd day of shooting informed us she was pregnant, and what we got is what we got, and which like, congratulations. But it's funny, the post-production were like, keeping people posted on like, hey, the film's coming along. And then like, we're getting little announcements. Hey, I gave birth to, a human being, a baby has been born. So it's funny that, all right, we had one death and one baby. And then also my mom was a principal at the time, and we had access to a middle school science lab. So a lot of the props that you see in the background, we went and kind of raided the science lab one weekend and then brought them back after the shoot. So we had some fun props on set. But it was shot in my grandma's house. My grandma's a good sport. We've shot like a couple different movies at her house and in different ways and different like the vagina bathroom, the pink bathroom. She's repainted since, so essentially it's a new bathroom, it's a new set. She actually redid another room in her house, and I'm like, oh, that was so thoughtful, you made us a new set. So it's good to have that supportive family member that is willing to let you shoot at their space. Every now and then her little dogs would come in and be like, we want to be in the movie too, and like they'd bark and they'd run a take, and I'm like, next movie. And so
All right,
but it was fun.
Milo notice.
If you looked at the credits, we're really scrappy. We have a small crew, and we're weekend filmmakers. We're making stuff in between our 9 to 5, so it was a fun production.
I love it so much, especially in a place like the Bay Area, right? Like you got to run and gun and be scrappy because it's really hard to get opportunities, and it's so freaking expensive that it's hard to make the time in your life to do it. So thank you all so much for coming together and joining our Q&A and sharing your art with our audiences. We really appreciate you. And to our audiences, you did it. Thank you for watching. Please watch everything else and come to the Roxy Theater for the festival. And we think you're all very cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.